Hey, good morning, moms. This is our Facebook Live for the official Moms of Master Books Facebook group. For those of you who are new, my name's Randy Pratt. I am the VP of Sales and Marketing, and I am joined this morning by best-selling author Craig Froman. And we're going to talk about one of his curriculums. So I told him I'm going to pick on him a little bit. This week, I went to a bookstore locally, and I found this amazing soap. For those of you, if you can see it. Now, I'm in marketing. And so we have to pass all of our marketing through editorial. And so this soap is for the grammar police. Smells like you're annoying. And then it goes, ah, ha, ha, ha. It's so easy to get under your skin. This is why Craig was delighted to come up and spend time with marketing.
What if I should have come up earlier?
So it's a delightful soap, though.
Wow, sounds like you're annoying. It really does smell good. That is really funny. Thank you.
Yeah. So don't I'm thinking about buying some of this actually for everybody in the editorial department, but I don't want to be mean
without it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Kristen always says this is how you know because we share a Facebook page.
Yeah.
She says this is how you know if it's me or if it's Randy. If there's typos in it and misspellings, it's Randy. If it's me, it's going to be much better. So I had to be careful when I showed her that soap because I didn't want her thinking it was for her. Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. If you are new here, this is the official Master Books homeschool curriculum group. We do try to keep everything on point with curriculum. We're so blessed to have authors, moderators. The editors are part of this group. And so sometimes everybody wonders why we don't allow outside links or general discussion. And it really is because it's so much to manage this group and keep on top of it that just by adding outside links and discussions, general homeschooling type questions, it would be very hard to keep up with it. And so that's really the reason. But today what we're going to talk about is elementary geography and cultures. And we're very blessed. If you don't know Craig has written the new My Story and the World Around Me, book 1. I think you said book 2 is actually going to proofers this week. And we expect to have that, it'll definitely be available the beginning of August.
Yeah. End of July, early August.
Okay.
It would definitely be here in stock, yeah, for sure.
So, but before that, Craig actually had written one of our best-selling curriculums, and it is Elementary Geography and Cultures. It's for grades 4 through 6, ideally. Right. The first book in that series is Passport to the World. And if you could, Craig, tell us a little bit about this project.
Okay, sure. This is one I had started actually writing before I ever came down to Master Books, but something that I really had fun with. I was telling Randy earlier, used to love it when missionaries would come to our church. I grew up in California, and they would talk about different people around the world, what God was doing around the world, and that always just really got me excited. So this was sort of an introduction through languages to kids. So it's a language journey around the world from A to Z. It was a little bit of research trying to find, there's obviously thousands of languages, but I had to find 26 languages A to Z that had just the right set of words. And we can go through that. One thing I like to point out, and I'll set this down here for just a second. You have your passport, and I think Randy has the stickers there. As you go through each country in each language group, there's a place in here in the passport that comes inside the book where you can put the passport sticker and put that in there. There's a proverb that's in the book itself, but then in the back of the passport there's other activities that we tried to add some things so that if you're traveling for the summer, you're going someplace, you're driving someplace, there's different kinds of activities. Complete the proverb or saying. You can kind of quiz each other, name that flag. So there's the flags in the back of the book for the different countries. And then the greetings, kind of learning the different languages, but just other ways to kind of keep the activities going
So
that are just kind of fun. Yeah.
if you're doing multiple students in this course, or you want to do just this book alone, we did have extra stickers and passports printed out. They're only $239 per student, so I'm not sure who's pricing it, but it's phenomenally priced. So on masterbooks.com, you can order additional stickers. If you buy the book and you wanted to do this with your entire school and buy 5 of these to have the kids have their own passport, and each of these stickers is related to the country. It's like an immigration stamp when you come back in, what you would have stamped on your passport. So really a cool way of tracking that.
And then this is our revised edition. We have Canada added in here now. And Randy and I were talking a little bit ago as well. The course itself, the original edition had France, covering French, the French language. Now it has Canada. But if you get the course itself, either book is taken care of in the course. We have France and Canada addressed through the passport. And if you have the book, I don't know if you don't, you can always look at our look inside on masterbooks.com. But this will kind of show you what you get with each page. There's the map of the world where you can see where the different countries are, and you can find them by letter. And again, A to Z, it's by A to Z by language itself. So if you come to Spanish S, it's for Mexico. You turn to page 44, and you can get specific insights on the flag, on the populations, the life expectancies. The map, it gives you these particular terms that you can learn to say, which all of the countries have these, and that was an issue. There were some countries I could not find, where the languages at least, that they did not have. There were a few that didn't have a word for thank you, which I thought was rather odd. It didn't seem like they'd be a very thankful language if you can't even say thank you. And so I had to kind of be selective. But you have hello, goodbye, thank you, and peace in all 26 languages as you're going through Passport. And then we always have a little bit like of their money, a proverb from that country, some facts that you can learn about the country, some foods. That comes into play in the course itself. We have some recipes that are in there for you, and ways that you can kind of bring that part of the country exploration to life for the kids. But this is something, again, that I came to just love people from around the world. I have friends from around the world now, and to know that God loves them. He wants us to love people from around the world as well. And this, I hope, will be that introduction for children, that they'll come to appreciate and love people from all different walks of life and all different cultures. And what you'll find on each page, we normally try to get a picture of some children from the country. And then down in the lower part, there's always a picture of someone in more of their traditional type clothing that they might wear for special events, festivities, things like that. So I don't know if there are any other questions that you might have that you want me to address, or ideas or thoughts about the book.
On this one, no. We have, there's been over 10,000 copies of this.
Yeah.
So this is one that the coolest thing about this course is when you're done with the course, these books stay in your library. So it's a hardcover book, and it will be a resource that you can use over and over again. So we have that book. Then we have the Children's Atlas, which is an incredible, nice big book. I looked it up before we went on live. We've sold over 24,000 copies of this, which is pretty neat. So I'll have you explain this book and a little bit of the backstory behind that.
Yeah, this one here was actually inspired once I was working here for Master Books. There was a company that had come to us and said, we can't find a good Christian children's atlas. And I don't know if you've ever been to the library. I probably have 15 or 20 atlases at home in my own little library. And if you open up most of them, the front matter begins addressing how, the Earth is 4.3 billion years old or something, and it starts going at it like that and talking about evolution, and so it's important. We thought it was important then to start it with God's creation of the world and his creation and his calling on the people that he created, his love for us. And so that's where this kind of started, the idea that there isn't an atlas out there. This particular company asked us to at least include certain countries that they wanted to have addressed, and so we worked with them to do that. And I began to kind of pull together the research on that. This one again has, as kind of the table of contents, a map, just like Passport, where it breaks it down by continent. So we go to every continent on the Earth, and we address it kind of one by one, and then there's so many focus countries then that it goes into. So the opening spread, like in this case, you've got North America. So the opening spread will talk about North America in general, and then as you go into, well, and I want to address this as well, you've got the little pins here. If it's talking about something that's there in North America, you can find those pins on the map, find out where those locations are. If it has a Christian flag, like this area down here, then it's talking about Christian history, and every focus country, we do address Christian history of that particular country. And we try and really bring that history into it. So that's where really the idea of social studies, connecting with history, with people, with cultures. We also address just all kinds of wonderful things. God's creation, butterflies and the migration of the butterflies. I know that takes place down in Mexico. You have, again, the flags of the nations, what those flags mean. We go into government systems a little bit as well. And so that, again, addressing issues that might involve like a social studies component to the book. And they did such an incredible job here of just bringing vibrant pictures that I just love looking through the book and seeing the different people, seeing different buildings and homes, and it might have waterfalls, it might have just different animals that are a part of that culture. You can also see on the bottom, let's see, I'm holding up a little bit more, that there's a globe, so it's always kind of keeping you in perspective as to where you are on the globe as you're going around from country to country. But it's just fascinating to me, all that God has done, and again, bringing in then Christian history into where missionaries may have had an impact. I remember reading, we touch on Saudi Arabia, that at the time of the writing there were no registered Christians in Saudi Arabia, but the first Christian church, actual building, was uncovered there from way back at the early church era when it was constructed. So you have this sense that there was definitely a Christian presence there, even though you can't really register as a Christian there currently. It's fascinating to see what a legacy Christ has left through his people around the world. And so it's an exciting thing. I want to jump to the back here real quick. Again, it goes through all of the 7 continents. And then when you get to the back, if I can turn it upside down here, it also addresses some other kinds of things. We touch on the biomes of the world. And as you're going through the book itself, it will address that. So whether it be a desert, a grassland, rainforest, the mountains, the different regions that God has created, it kind of talks a little bit about each of those. There's also the glossary, so that can help if a child wants to look up a particular element of geographical history, that's going to be on there. We've got holidays addressed, government systems talked about, and I think that kind of brings us to the end of that one there. But again, there's 22 focus countries in this one. All 7 continents are addressed. And so it's just a fun adventure, I think, to be able to travel around the world and get to see so much that God has done. I wish I could travel more, but I have to keep editing things.
Okay, so before we go, Anna wants to know, do your shoes match your shirt?
They do. I don't know if I can hold it up or not. I've got my Van Gogh Starry Night shirt, and I've got my Van Gogh Starry Night shoes. I don't know if you can see those or not. Yes, they do match. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that.
His shoes always match his shirts. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the teacher guide, but before I do, we are going to give away this week, if you purchase the Elementary and Geography Cultures, we've included Great for God. Great for God is a book about missionaries who've changed the world. Even if you don't buy this course, it may be worth getting the book because there's profiled, I think there's over 23 missionaries. Roland Bingham, Bill Bright, William Carey, Amy Carmichael, Jim Elliott, Charles Fuller, H.B. Garlick, Adoniram Judson, Eric Liddell, Paul Little, David Livingston, Lottie Moon, John R. Mott, Bob Pierce, Warren Shipley, Mary Slessler, Oswald Smith, C.T. Studd, Hudson Taylor, William Cameron Townsend, Dawson Troutman, Nicholas Zinzendorf.
Zinzendorf? Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to have an editor with me. Samuel Zweimer.
Yeah, Zweimer, I think, yeah.
Again,
sounds right.
Editorial is good. And so, yeah, he gives you some brief. Reading the stories of these great lives will encourage you. They will enlighten you. They will enlarge you. And they will provide examples of how to live a life of purpose.
Very uplifting title.
It really is.
Uplifting.
So this would be great if you're doing, you could even do this with My Story, where you just do once a week, have a night where maybe Dad reads this to the family or add it to a morning basket or that type of thing. I know for us, we had started doing YWAM books, the missionary stories, and we did them as family read-alouds at night. And it's amazing how that just implanted in my kids a kingdom purpose, and they started wanting to go into the mission field and do more mission-driven things. So this, if you buy the set, you're going to get this included for free this week, but we'll also put a link to this in the book. The other thing that I want to touch on, if you went to a public school or you grew up with a lot of evolutionary thought, One Race, One Blood by Ken Ham. This is a classic book that explains that we are all one blood, and we all came from the same descendants, and we just have different colors of melatonin, different features, and also our need for the blood of Jesus Christ to redeem the fallen blood. So this is something as a parent to, a little bit of continuing education credit to be able to explain racism, to be able to explain races from a biblical perspective. So as you go through this course and you're being introduced to different people, different culture groups, different people that look different, have different skin color, being able to explain to your student that the races didn't happen through evolutionary processes, as would be the thought, right, but that they were actually through the diversity after the Tower of Babel. All right, so we'll also put a link to this book as well. Okay, so the teacher guide. So the teacher guide is set up a lot like our traditional courses. The first semester, I'll have you explain it. I'll hold it for you.
Well, so I know we start with Passport to the World in the first semester. And as you can see on the calendar, each day, if you want to follow the calendar, of course, you can always set it up however you want. But we try and do a daily reading or some kind of activity that will carry you through. Usually it's about 30 to 40 minutes of time that you would take for those kinds of things. And you would just start, you just go from Passport to the World. It'll let you know what pages to read. And then you can do the activities, the worksheet. There's also the time for, if there's special things to do, like the cooking time, if you want to do one of the recipes, or if you have students of various ages, and maybe there's some older students and they want to do additional research, you can always build that into your schedule as well. But you just follow that through the second semester. Then you're able to move into Children's Atlas of God's World, and then it'll walk through that. It'll let you know the pages to read, when to do the worksheets that are built in, when to do, there's some color type pages in there as well that you can do. And it's just a nice schedule, a nice design for you to be able to follow through. And that's the nice thing about the other courses as well. If you're doing several courses, well, you're able to just follow it along and keep all of them exactly the same by checking off the days as you complete them.
So I'll give you this. This would be the worksheet from Mexico in the Children's of the Atlas. And so throughout the Children's of the Atlas, there's a couple of pages. And one of the questions, I just hit myself in the face. One of the questions, let's see, in Mexico, they use the Mexican blank as a monetary unit. And so as you look on the page, the monetary unit is listed, monetary unit as the Mexican peso. And so they would complete the worksheets based on this. One thing that I like about this is it requires a little bit of abstract thinking, because it's not just saying, as you look at this page, it's asking questions, but then you have to look at this infographic almost, right, and find the answer from it, as opposed to just here's text, questions, text, questions. So that's the way the format's set up. I think Craig had a really good idea too of keeping a notebook and having sketches and stuff like that. So having them do a little bit of extra if they find something interesting they could sketch animals, they could sketch the country, they could do some of that type of thing.
That was something, I always loved art. So if I could do anything with art and add that as a component, that would help me to stay focused. So like here's this, the caterpillar of a giant silkworm moth. That would be something that you could have if you had a journal that you kept as you were going through the course. You could have a student that wanted to be able to draw something like that, or the snake, the anaconda. It's just kind of just something interesting to kind of add as a component to it. Anything like that you can do to engage the student, to make it a little bit to fit their needs. That's the nice thing about homeschooling, is you can fit the needs of each child by just altering some of what you address, and as you move through the course, that makes it kind of exciting. So
what I would recommend this for, and you can tell me what you think, I would recommend this for upper elementary students, grades 4 through 6. It could be used as a modern geography course. It could be used as a social studies course, where we have My Story 1 and 2, which could be used in grades 1, 2, and 3. This could easily be used as a social studies supplement. Somebody asked if it could be done along America's Story. I would say absolutely. You could spread it out over a period of time. You could do this over 2 years if you wanted to, alongside America's Story, and use it as a supplement. We do have a lot of families who will do this with multiple grades. So they'll have a 4th or 5th or 6th grader, but then they'll also have kindergarten and 2nd grader, and just learning about it, practicing the language. I wouldn't have the 2nd grader or 1st grader do the activity sheets.
Right. That might be a little.
But they could certainly do a notebook, do the drawing. They could be part of the discussions and the reading and that type of thing. So you could definitely use it for a multiple grade in the elementary range. Price-wise, again, we're not sure the price, who's pricing the books. The retail price of this is $50.97, but at masterbooks.com, it's $37.71 for the 2 hardcover books and the teacher guide. And of course, these stay permanently in your library. This is the consumable book. And you can buy the additional sticker books for the passport. So price-wise, it's an unbelievable price. And this is one of our best-selling elementary curriculums. And the reviews on it are fantastic. Craig is passionate about world cultures, and it plays through in this series. And I think the Christian perspective, because there are so many cultures and atlases and everything that are available in homeschooling, but to have a faith-based component to it, and then I think it's just a brilliant person in marketing who came up with the idea that this this would also complement this series really well to help a family understand that God loves all of these cultures and civilizations. Mandy asked about searching for the sticker book. If you just type in passport, passport of the world, it'll come up as the additional sticker and passport book on masterbooks.com. Okay. Why are some countries repeated was one of the questions. I know we talked a little bit about it. I'll let you explain that.
Yeah, it's Passport to the World was obviously created first, and that was available several years before the course was actually discussed at all. And the company that approached us to say that, we'd like to have a Christian children's atlas, but we can't find one on the market. They kind of partnered with us. They gave us some ideas of what they wanted to have in the children's atlas. And so some of those countries happened to kind of cross over, and we tried to keep them as diverse as possible. So that's why there's a little bit of crossover on the countries themselves, but the content itself is again very diverse. And we kind of they're done it a little bit different way. Of course, children's atlas has a focus on the countries and their government systems, things like that the Passport doesn't necessarily have. Its focus is more on the language component, some facts and things about the people themselves. So they're done a little bit differently. The elements that are a part of each book are a little bit different, but and there's certainly a lot of different countries as well that are included. But that's a part of why some of them do have a little bit of crossover.
In the books, you may in one semester study Mexico, and that's from the perspective of the atlas. The next semester, you may cover Mexico again, but it's from a different. They're going to learn new information,
it's
like the
done very
language,
differently.
The recipes,
right?
That type of thing. So there's reinforcement in the course on those countries, but the way Master Books started, we've published a number of books for a lot of years, and so these books were published. They were used in other curriculum plans by some other companies as well. I know Atlas was and is. And we wanted to be able to package it in such a way that we would remove the friction, right? So it's open and go. As soon as you get it, you open up the teacher guide, you see what to do on what day, your student activity sheets, you can build on it as far as you want to go. You could do research projects, you could study it, you could travel to it, you could do whatever you wanted. But this is kind of the base level course. So
Right, exactly.
Okay, so again, this course, $37.71. If you buy it this week, we've got the cart configured to give you Great for God as a supplement as well. And you can purchase additional stickers. We'll put links to all of these in the video. We highly, if you're not familiar with races and racism from a biblical perspective, encourage this. And this is hot off the press and has quickly become one of our best-selling curriculums. And we love your master books and action pictures that we're getting of the kids doing these and seeing.
That's very exciting. My son and I wrote that series together, and so when I get home, a lot of times after seeing some of the things that you've posted, I'll bring those up for him to see as well. Just very, very exciting, very moving.
And I let Craig know that marketing played a part in the
that is true, very true. So,
this is why he loves to come up to the magic. It's always edifying.
Oh, it is.
It is. Yeah,
it is. I am built up.
All right, guys. Well, on Thursday, we'll be talking about mind maps, building mind maps and using mind maps to help your student develop concepts, be able to write, think through processes. So if you've never heard that before, It's nothing evil. It's a way of charting, so to speak, a story in rough drafting for people like myself.
That sounds really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to show up.
Teaching tips.
Bobby.
We try to keep Teaching Tips Thursday kind of interesting. Yeah. We try to stay away from controversial topics. But,
on Thursdays,
on
no
Thursdays.
controversy.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, well, thank you, everybody. This is such an honor to serve you and to be part of this community. We absolutely appreciate you. We lift you up in prayer because we believe that the work you're doing is kingdom work, and you are raising up a generation to face Goliath that we never imagined facing. And we're beginning to see them awaken, and it's the most exciting thing I can imagine. So stay strong, be encouraged, and we hope to see you Thursday. God bless everybody.
God bless. Thank you.